Here she is. Fast asleep now.
Swing, 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 swing. Hi, Mama.
Hey everybody, Sabrina here. This is no longer a pregnancy update because I am no longer pregnant. I know I had said I was going to try and vlog the labor and delivery, but I had a little issue with that one. First, in the beginning of my labor, I didn't vlog because it was the middle of the night. Second, by the time we were heading to the hospital, I forgot my camera in the diaper bag. And the diaper bag was at my parents' house, so I didn't have my camera. And my husband, bless him, he doesn't think about taking video or recording any of the stuff that's going on at the time. He brought a book and he sat and he read for most of my labor. So that didn't happen either. But I will tell you my birth story, and I will give you guys the little bits and clips of video that we did get. Yeah, she decided to come on the weekend just like I thought she would. I had said to my husband, funny story, when we found out when the due date was. So my due date was technically August 30th. But I knew when I ovulated, and I knew roughly how long it takes. I usually go over by about 7 days. So I said to my husband, I figure it's going to be the weekend after Labor Day weekend. I'll start from Saturday. I was getting Braxtons all day Saturday. So they were ranging anywhere from like 20 minutes apart. All of a sudden I'd have an hour of nothing, and then they were 10 minutes apart, and they go to 6 minutes apart, just all over the place. Went to bed. It takes me forever to fall asleep on a normal, regular night. And that night, I couldn't fall asleep. And around midnight, I felt a real contraction. And you know it's real because you can feel it doing what it's supposed to do. It's hard to describe, but Braxton's you feel mostly near the top, your belly. It just feels like everything's getting really hard. And a real contraction, you feel it down low, and you can feel a bit of a pulling sensation. I'm not sure exactly how to describe it, but it feels like it's doing something more. So they were still only about 30 seconds long. They were not lasting very long. They were short, very manageable, easy to deal with. So I tried to sleep, but I could not sleep. Uncomfortable, not getting any sleep. And my husband, he had to go and work in the barn that morning. So at around 4:30ish in the morning, he woke up with me when I got up because of another contraction. And he's looking at me, he's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "I think I might be in labor, but it's still very early. I don't know where I'm at." So my husband's like, "Well, how about I quickly go in the barn, do my chores, and you let me know if anything changes." I'm like, "Okay." So we went in the barn. I tried laying down again. At 5:30 in the morning, there was no lying down anymore. I got up and I did my devotions, and I walked around a bit. I had some juice because I needed something. I could feel I needed something. Had a shower. I wasn't sure if I should wake the kids yet. It was Sunday, so we wanted to go to church. And I'm sitting there going, do we go to church, or do I call my mom and have her come in, and then Chuck and I just go to the hospital? Like, I don't know where I'm at right now. These contractions were ranging still 7-10 minutes apart. They were kind of going between those two numbers. So I sat down and I prayed, and I'm like, Lord, if we need to go in now, keep them at 6. If we have some time, please move them to 10 and don't have them any closer than 10 minutes apart. It was 10 minutes, every contraction after that. At 5:30 in the morning, the reason I couldn't go back to bed, I lost my plug. I have never actually seen my entire plug all at once. I've never had that before. We will get ready and go to church as normal. I have no idea how much time I have, but we'll get ready and go to church as normal. So we did. Kids got up. My 4-year-old was the first one up, and she comes down the stairs and she's like, "Mom, is it morning yet?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's morning." I was lying down on the couch trying to get some rest in. So she goes upstairs. I say, you can go get everybody up and get ready for church. Okay, so she goes upstairs and she's getting everybody up. And my oldest comes down the stairs and she's like, "Mom, are you okay? Because we were supposed to get up already?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's already, getting close to 7:30. It is when you guys normally get up. We need to get ready for church. Sunday school starts at 9. Oh, are you in labor? I don't know, maybe, I think so, but we gotta get ready to go to church. Okay, so everybody got themselves breakfast. I tried eating. Oh goodness. Every time when I hit that stage where those contractions are strong enough and I'm not getting enough sleep, I just couldn't eat. But yeah, we went to church. I brought my son, who is supposed to be in Sunday school, but the youngest class hadn't started up yet. So I just brought him into the nursery with me. And I sat down, and everyone that was there, we were all chatting, and then I remember having one contraction where I was kind of like, okay, I gotta concentrate on this one. And then they were looking at me going, are you okay? Why are you here? I'm like, well, I think I'm in labor, but it's still very early labor. Well, why did you come to church? What else am I supposed to do? Stay home and then sit there, and then I'm not in town if all of a sudden things change really quickly and I have to get to the church, and then I have to get to the hospital, and I have to get all the kids in the vehicle. And no, we'll just keep running the day like we normally do until I feel like now we're going in. By the end of the service, I was so uncomfortable with everything. I didn't know what to do because my parents, whom we were going to go visit after, had expressed at some point that they didn't want me to break my water at their house, because that's what happened last time. And I know it was meant in jest more than anything, but it's still like I really didn't want to be an inconvenience. You know, I felt bad about it happening in the first place, even though there was no control, and they know that I had no control over any of that. And I'm like, well, I have no control over if it happens again. I don't know if it's going to happen again. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where I'm at. I've been contracting now for 12 hours. My last one, it was very easy to work through, and then all of a sudden, boom, I'm 100% ready to go, and I had no idea. One of my friends in church, she's a doula. So I chatted with her a little bit, and she said, you know, just to ease your mind, just go to the hospital. If they send you home, they send you home. It's not a big deal, and I know that. She says, just go to the hospital, find out where you're at. Like, okay, you know, that's a great idea. So we went to the hospital, and the lady there, the one nurse there, she's like, 10 minutes apart though, that's really far apart. I'm like, yep, I normally wouldn't be coming in, but this is what happened with my son. So she's like, okay, we'll check you. And I was only at 3 centimeters. I was only 50% effaced, and she was in a high station. So that's why I didn't feel any pressure yet. She said, you can either stay and we'll check you in another hour, or we can send you home and like discharge you, and you come back if there's any changes. So I said, you know, I think what we should do, I want to get some lunch. So I'm tired, so I'm hoping I can maybe get some rest. Would it be okay if we my parents live like, they're like 2-minute drive. Would it be okay if we just went to my parents and then after an hour came back, or if changes happened or anything like that, come back? They said that was okay, that was a go ahead. So we went to my parents' house, and I ate a little bit of something. I couldn't eat much. And then I lay down. It was around 2:15 when the contraction changed very suddenly. I felt a definite pop. Like, I didn't know what that was because my water didn't break. I didn't feel my water break at that point, but I felt this pop. Now what? We headed out the door, and that's when I made the mistake of, I left my diaper bag with my parents, and I just grabbed my wallet, and I forgot my camera, which we only realized once we got to the hospital. I was like, I'm not turning around and going back now. We're going in. We're going to find out where I'm at because things have changed. So we got to the hospital, and now I was at 5 centimeters and 70% effaced, and she was right there. So I was wondering if maybe the pop that I had felt was actually her moving in. Interestingly enough, my water hadn't broken when the pop happened, but while we were walking over we had to park a ways away. They had no parking close by, so we had to park about a block away. And as we were walking over from parking, I was feeling a little bit like I was leaking, but it wasn't substantial. Like, it wasn't like how it happened with my son. That was like way different. This was just tiny little bits. So she checked that right away, and she's like, yep, that's amniotic fluid. You did break your water. I get myself settled. Everything is put away, and I'm walking around and I'm thinking, you know, I am so tired because I was exhausted because I'd had no sleep. I was so tired. I'm like, I can't sleep through these contractions. When I was there and I'm walking and I'm standing, they were actually easier to deal with than when I lay down at my mom's. But I'm sitting there going, I need sleep. I need rest. I've had no rest. I don't know if I'm going to be able to have the strength to push the baby out if I don't get some rest. So I had asked when I got there if there was a possibility of me getting an epidural, because then I don't feel anything and I would have been able to sleep. There were so many women in the hospital having babies at that time and not enough nurses and techs to be able to deal with having somebody with another person with an epidural. I don't know how much equipment they have or whatever, but I was told I couldn't have an epidural. And there was another lady who was asking for an epidural as well, and she was already being told she couldn't have it either. And so I'm sitting there going, okay, I need sleep. What can I have that might allow me just 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, something. I need to be able to rest. So my sister-in-law had mentioned fentanyl. So I had asked about that. I had no idea. I've never used it before, so I had no idea what it would mean. And they said that they administer one dose every 30 minutes, lasts about 30 minutes in the system. They will give them to you until pushing. And then when you're pushing, if the baby has some in their system, they might have some breathing issues. So then I'm sitting there going, oh no, I don't know if I want to risk that. And they also said what it does is it takes the edge off. Well, that's what they say laughing gas does. I'm like, laughing gas does nothing for me. So I debated about it for a good while, and I finally at about 4:45, I was like, you know what, I need to lie down. And the second I lay down, the contractions were so much worse. So I told the nurse, yep, let's go for it. I already had an IV in because I have high risk for hemorrhaging. So she set up a saline drip because they have to have that going on while you're getting the fentanyl. And for 5 minutes I was like, oh, okay, yes, I'm getting that lightheadedness you were talking about. She's like, yep. So I lay down. I was able to close my eyes and I was able to rest. I could sort of feel contractions, but they were not, I could rest through them. I didn't have to focus so hard on things to be able to make myself relax. And I just lay there, and then all of a sudden I felt this intense pressure. It was like a contraction, but it wasn't going away. And it was just getting stronger. And I'm sitting there going, okay, something has changed. And she's like, well, it's been about a half hour. I'm like, no, this isn't a contraction change. This is more. I don't know, this feels weird. It's intense pressure, like just intense. She's like, okay, well, let's check you, see where you're at. So it was getting to be about 5:30, and they checked me, and I was ready to push. Her head was right there. I was fully dilated and everything, and I was ready to push. I am still really tired, and this baby is coming. So the doctor on call came in. I had some other nurses come in. My contractions were still 5 minutes apart. The doctor came in and she's looking at me. She's like, okay, have her contractions always been this far apart? And the nurse there's like, yeah, they didn't get any closer than 5 minutes. They were about 5 minutes apart all the time. Okay. And she's fully ready to go. Yep, she's dilated completely. Apparently that's an odd thing. They're telling me I can push. And I'm lying there going, I don't remember. I'm so tired. I wasn't loopy or anything in the least bit, but I could not remember. Let's try pushing. And it took a bit for me to get the hang of it. And it was like, I think halfway through my one contraction when I finally figured it out. And then the next contraction came and I had to try and remember again. And she came down and they were sitting there, okay, I think one more. I think one more contraction will do it. But I was having such long breaks between the contractions too. Like I felt her moving back up. Because that happens. Don't worry, it's not a big deal. But it can be frustrating. So the next contraction came and I was pushing. And I could feel the crowning happen about midway through the contraction. I felt the crowning. I don't like the crowning. And then the contraction stopped. I was pushing through the crowning. I was getting her out, and then the contraction stopped. And I couldn't push anymore. And I could feel her head was like half out. Like I asked my husband what, like, how far out it was, and he's like, "Oh, I don't remember. You'll have to ask the doctor." And I'm sitting there, I'm like, "You were right there. Like, you were right there. Did you not notice? Like, you were standing right there." He didn't notice anything. I was like, "Huh." All I could do now was breathe until the contraction would start up again, the next one. It felt like forever. And I came and I pushed, and in like one short push, I could feel all the rest of her. She just came out all at once, just all in a rush.
I need a reminder how many girls versus boys at home.
4-2.
That's more comfortable.
And they put the baby on your chest, and you're just so happy, at least for me. So I held her for a bit, and tried to see if maybe we could get her to nurse, and because now came the part where all of us were just waiting to see what my body was going to do now, because I have had 2 really bad hemorrhages in the past. The placenta came out no problem. I actually asked to see it this time, so I got to see it. It was the first time, the 6th baby, and my first time seeing the placenta. I started hemorrhaging. Like, they put the stuff on right away, right after the placenta came out. They had everything ready to go. Right after the placenta came out, they put the IV, the drip in. I can't remember what it was called, but it didn't seem to make much of a difference. I started having problems. My uterus would not clamp down and become that hard rock it's supposed to be right after you give birth. It would relax a little bit. It didn't get bad like it did with my other girls. It didn't get boggy. They said it didn't get boggy. There was still some firmness in it, but it was not as firm as it needed to be. So they had to massage it, and then she had to go, it's the worst part. I had never had this before, but she had to actually go in and pull out clots. And that was just, oh my goodness. Like, I've already just pushed an 8-pound bowling ball through there. Can you please just leave that area alone? You gotta do what you gotta do. And I understand that, and I'm not like angry or anything. Like, it was just so incredibly uncomfortable, and I really, really, really wish that I did not have hemorrhaging issues, because that would just make the birth experience so much better if I didn't have to worry about that at all. They dealt with it. I had the pills, and I didn't need a catheter, so that was nice. The whole time I'm holding her skin to skin, trying to get her to nurse, and that helped actually as well once she started nursing. They had a student doctor. I have had student doctors with just about every single delivery. I think my first delivery is the only one that I didn't have a student doctor there. I'm good with that.
Say hi.
Hi. Over an hour already since she came out, and I've got the shakes still.
A milkshake. Well, if you want me to get you a milkshake, I'll get you a milkshake. I was thinking of going to McDonald's anyways. We just haven't figured out a name for her yet.
I just can't, like, an hour and a half ago, she was in my belly. Here she is. I just wish I wouldn't have had the breathing issues.
Yeah, I know. Just something that seems to go with you birthing daughters.
Especially the girls.
He's so chubby. Here's my little girl. yesterday.
We got everything under control. I lost about 800 cc's is what they said. So it's a little over 3 cups. It wasn't huge. It wasn't as much as my other 2 that I had had prior. But it was enough that they were concerned because that's still a lot. My levels were good. I felt good. I did not feel like I had with my 3rd baby when I had hemorrhaged terribly. She was good. She was 8 pounds, 2 ounces, which was really nice. She was 19 inches long, the shortest of all of my babies so far. She was born at 5:51 p.m.
See, Daddy's a pro at this already. Yeah. You're lucky. Daddy has 5 kids under his belt already.
Yeah.
He knows how to do this.
I don't know if you can see this. Look at all the hair. All the hair on her ear. What is it about baby ears? I don't know. Hello again. So here I am in all of my hospital glory. I do not pack extra things because I just wear what the hospital gives me pretty much for the entire time I'm here. It's just easier. Anyways, I got supper. So I'm excited because I'm hungry. I'm always hungry. I feel like I could just eat all day. Ooh, broccoli. Love broccoli. This looks good. I'm gonna eat my supper. You're not happy? So we're done?
We're done.
You get to go home?
Yep.
Can't
Pick up
see
the kids
anything
first.
because it's dark.
That's right.
And it's raining. It was a really good labor and delivery experience. It was a really strange labor and delivery experience. If I would have listened to the 4-1-1 rule. So the 4-1-1 rule, I believe, is contractions have to be 4 minutes apart. They have to be lasting at least a minute long, and they need to be doing this already for about an hour before you go in. I'd say maybe listen to that for your first baby, because by the time it got to that point, with my last 2, I would have already had the baby in the vehicle. It was actually kind of nice. My one nurse that I've had for my last 3 babies, now she's been there for all 3 of those. My first 2 she wasn't there for. I don't think she was a nurse yet, but she was an L&D nurse with my last 3, now last 4 babies, and she comes in as I'm pushing in between pushing. And she comes in and she's like, "Hi, Sabrina. Oh, my friend, I'm so glad to see you here." And she just rubs my back. And it was so nice to have her there. I love birth stories. I don't know. I love listening to other people's birth stories. I'm probably not the best at telling my birth story, but I wish I could tell it in more like story form. But I just tell it. Like, I don't have anything written down here. I'm just telling it as I'm remembering it. There's so much I've forgotten already. It's only been 3 days, and there is so much that I have forgotten already, which is why I wanted to vlog it, but I forgot my camera. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that for anybody who is getting ready to have a baby of their own, maybe this will calm your fears a little bit, because if you want to try going all natural, go for it. If you feel like you need something, get it. I did all natural my last 2 babies. I got fentanyl with her because I needed sleep. If you need something to help you sleep, or you need something, get it. Don't feel bad about it. Don't feel like now you're lesser than or anything like that, because you're not. You have a big job that you're going to be doing. So that is my story, and thank you very much for watching, and I hope you all have a very blessed week. Is that your baby sister? Yeah, baby. Yeah, gentle, yes. And the cow says moo. Moo. Moo, that's right. That's a baby.
I bet he's having a good night's sleep.
Gentle, that's right. Yes, gentle.
What does it have a tooth?
Because we have a tooth for her.
I did not know that was my bed.
Yep. Yeah, we were outside and now we're inside. Now you're going to pull that off again, right? Oh, is she cute? Is she cute?
Okay.